Hi, class. It is now time to prepare for the discussion section of your experimental research paper, or proposal, I should say. And now we are going to really get into the nitty gritty of breaking down everything that we've done together and then become the expert of our research and discuss some of the aspects of our research and break that down and sharing our thoughts. And this is pretty much the area of your paper where your opinion can hold weight as long as you have um, supporting research to back up your claims. Okay, so in this section, you're going to talk about the results and recap on the results, and then you're going to talk about why you think that the results indicated the way that they did, talk about some implications pertaining to this topic and these variables. You're going to talk about some of the limitations that may have been involved in completing the research or why the results came out the way that they came out. And you are going to also discuss some future research that may be needed on this particular topic. So, this discussion paper section is indeed one of the final parts of the paper before your references page, and you're going to just explain the significance of your results and bring it on back home to the research question. So, let's just quickly look at um, the parts of your paper and what you should have throughout this entire semester for each part. So, of course, you're going to start off with your cover pages, which is your um, title page, your abstract. Then you're going to move on to the introduction of your paper and lead into the literature review, and then your methodology section to your results section, then to your discussion and conclusion, which will pretty much end your paper, and then you'll close out the paper with your references page, all in APA format with proper in-text citations throughout the paper. Your um, references page should be double spaced. The whole entire paper should be double spaced, but the references page should be with a hanging indent and double spaced in alphabetical order. So let's just quickly look at the purpose of the discussion section. As we said, we are taking all of the findings and giving an overall contextual summary of our research and what we found. And it pretty much is going to bring all of the sections of your paper together and connect each together to the end of the paper. So it's going to engage your audience in these three steps: interpretation, analysis, and explanation. So the effectiveness of the discussion section will tell the reader why this research is so important and where it fits in the current literature or in the current pool of knowledge pertaining to this particular topic. So let's scroll down some and look at your discussion section and how it should be structured. So first, you're going to summarize the key findings of the research and link all of them together with your initial research question. So my research question was, does the time of day that a student goes to class impact their academic performance? So now I sought out the answer to the question, and now I received it based on my research, based on my Vassar stats findings. And now I want to share with the readers what they should take away from my research. Okay. Then you're going to have the second part. The second part is going to talk about the context. So this is the part of where we take the literature review information and we analyze it and pretty much combine that information with our current results and how they intertwine or how they correlate if there are any correlations. And then If we had any unexpected results, then we would mention those unexpected results and describe the results and provide interpretations of why our results may have concluded the way that they did, and then provide explanations to that. So that might include limitations that may have arose during the data collection process, um, or there just may need to be a better criterion for this particular study. But this is where, again, we can be the expert. And so we take the information and talk about the limitations or the weaknesses in the research and address some of those to build the credibility. So even if our hypothesis came out to not be the way that we thought it would be, we can still discuss some of the limitations as the expert as to why that could have happened. Um, and then we're going to also talk about research studies that may need to be explored in the future. And then you're going to recommend some of those areas that you think need to be explored or that you find is very crucial for you or the future researchers to investigate pertaining to that topic. So you don't, again, want to go overboard with providing multiple suggestions, but maybe one or two would be applicable and will suffice. So pretty much you're going to leave your readers thinking about other possibilities that could be included into future research as listed based on the findings of your paper. And then lastly, you're going to conclude with a restatement of the most important significant findings and their implications from your research and explain why the research that has been presented to your readers, why this is very important and how it can apply to solving problems or investigating challenges um, externally, so outside of your research, and how the existence of your literature will impact the field overall. Okay, so that is the main part of the main explanation to this particular part of your paper. Um, and you want to make sure that you take the time to provide supporting research to your claims, to your thoughts, to your reflections within this part of the paper. Because again, this is the only part of the paper where you can share your opinion. But again, your opinion needs to have support so that it can have some level of credibility with empirical data and research. Okay, so you can take the time to look at some of these examples of the discussion section and how it applies to your research. So I hope this gives you a roundabout, well-rounded view of what should be included in your discussion section as you close out your paper. So here are a few things that you want to avoid in your discussion section. You don't want to rewrite the results section again. You just want to go over some of the most significant results or some of the most significant details of the results and then give your interpretation and or analysis of those findings. So a simple summary of that. You don't want to draw conclusions from findings without support. So that goes back to saying that you can draw conclusions, but you want to make sure that you don't just speculate. You want to provide some empirical data or some supporting research to back up your claims or your evidence pertaining to the results of your study. You also don't want to bring up new information. You want to discuss and examine the information that has already been presented in your paper earlier, because if you add new information in the section, this can confuse the details of your ideas. thoughts pertaining to your research question and what you are looking at in your current um, research proposal. So if new information comes up, you want to put it in the results section, and you may talk about it within the discussion as it pertains to future research that can be done um, later on. Then you don't want to cherry pick the results to analyze. So some results and findings won't answer the research question and won't answer it in the way that you were expecting for it to be answered. Or it just may be simply unexpected overall, and that's okay because research based on who actually completed the research study or who the participants were is what is going to indicate the results to that research question. So there could be different factors that may shift the results in its different ways, and that's where you would talk about maybe some of the limitations or barriers within the research. So a discussion section is simply the place to write about why or how um, the results came to be. So avoid ignoring those results to be in favor of what you want it to be or to support your research questions. It's okay if it does not come out the way that you thought it would, but you can again talk about some of those barriers that that presented itself as limitations to the study and um, future um, ideations to actually review. So I hope that you are coming along in your final paper well. Make sure you look at all of your feedback and apply that feedback to each section of your paper so that you can prepare to put all of your sections together, and this will create your entire research proposal for the term. All right, Bulldogs, I will see you in the classroom.